I'm Scott Klumb.
And I'm Msumba, and we welcome you to
Stars Connect. And today we are talking about sports, and we want to break the stigma that all autistic people are clumsy and uncoordinated. So let's bring our autistic athletes on.
Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
welcome everyone.
Welcome everybody. All right. Okay. Let's go around the room and can everyone introduce yourself and tell us what sports we'll play? We'll start with Heather.
I'm Heather Delabar, and I'm a distance runner.
That's awesome. And next is Zach.
Hi everyone, I'm Zachary Henderson. I used to play football, but now I work for a football team called Charlotte Football.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Jack.
I'm Jackson Gerke, and I played multiple sports: lacrosse, biking, mainly, and I did surfing, and I did Special Olympics as a kid a while back.
Wow, it's amazing.
Awesome.
And last but not least, Michael.
I'm Michael Kelly, and I have participated in numerous sports, including varsity football and track and field in high school. And I participate as a multi-sport athlete, including with flag football, bowling, swimming, softball, and basketball with Special Olympics Massachusetts. And I've been doing it for roughly about 19 years.
Wow.
It's great. Well, we're really excited to have you all. Thank you for coming on our show today.
Yeah,
It's
thank
a treat.
you. All right, let's start things out with, do you do better with team sports or individual sports?
Anyone can jump in. Zachary?
Um, I feel like I do better with team sports because it's more of like a social thing. Like you bond with teammates, you get experience with friends, you make friends on the sidelines, and you participate. I think that's like a great contribution to like being with a team. And if you do solo sports, you're just doing it for yourself.
Yeah, I can almost agree with Zach. I'm more of the team sport type of guy because, you know, it's a good way to like collaborate with everyone else instead of just going individual where you just worry about your own individual performance and where it's just team first, player last.
Nice. How you feel about it, Heather?
I do better in individual sport. That like there's like in cross country and track and field, there's some team aspect to it, but it's different from team sports where I kind of feel like I get lost and left out.
Yeah.
And only the best players are shown.
Right.
Whereas if you're not that great, you tend to get left out and kind of feel like, what's the point? I can't shoot a hoop. I can't score a goal. What's the point of even being here? I'm just sitting on the bench doing nothing. I'm useless. Whereas being on the cross country team, even if you're the slowest runner there, like people are there at the finish line cheering you on. Your teammates are there for you, even if you're the slowest runner in the group.
Yeah.
And encourage you to, you go out and run more miles and you work hard and you're able to get faster and you're able to, feel like you can actually do something and actually be able to improve yourself. Whereas how can you prove yourself if you spend most of the time just sitting on the bench if you're not that great? Whereas in running, I feel like you can be in the race no matter how fast or slow you are. And people on the team would encourage you in that so that you don't feel left out.
That's really great. I think that's important. Definitely. Jack, how do you feel about it?
Oh, I think for me, being a former lacrosse player, it's always a very physical and dangerous sport. You can tell that's very competitive. You're especially when you're going up against your biggest rivals or opponents. Versus like individual sport, whether it's like golf or tennis, where it's not as competitive as many people think. That really just kind of depends on where it is and what it's like. But what I can tell you from being on the competitive side on it, it's really like it's really one of those things where games do really matter, and you're basically it's like you're trying to win for have a winning season and just try to take your team up to the top in first place. So I think that to your point with sports being very competitive and like individual, they are just the ones they just like want to have some downtime and just want to have just want to like relaxing out with your friends kind of and just go on your own kind of thing. That's just what I that's just my takeaway for individual sports for being very social compared to just that you're very competitive. You're just trying to stay on task and just pay attention and listen to your coaches and just doing what you have to do and just doing all those tasks you have to do and just have to follow all those rules and just that's just how it goes in my opinion.
It's interesting to me that we have both sides of the coin on this question, because sometimes people think that people with autism won't do well in team sports, or like for they might think like Heather like says like she can run for herself, for herself, and not have to worry about the whole team. But I think it's just interesting that we have the whole spectrum.
Did you play any sports, Jennifer?
Yes, I love baseball and I love basketball.
Awesome.
How about you?
I played lacrosse growing up. Grew up playing golf. I played basketball through my junior year of high school. I ski all the time, and but now my two focuses are just golfing and skiing.
Cool.
What kind of skiing?
I
Downhill or cross country?
neither. I used to do more of the freestyle skiing when I would ski off of cliffs, go in the backcountry, and I broke a lot of bones doing it. So yeah, I think I've broken 12 bones now. So I ended up going from being in front of the camera to being a filmmaker behind the camera, and I still get to ski and do all that.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, looks like we have a new person joining us. Andrew, would you like to
Hi.
introduce yourself? Hi.
Yeah, my name is Andrew Roberts. I have been a sports fan almost my entire life, and now I am a aspiring sports broadcaster, and I'm at Ithaca College in my second year as a sports media major. So I've been writing a blog called Boston Sports Mania for about 10 years, and now taking that to the college level, I've been on several TV shows, radio shows over at Ithaca covering sports.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool.
And Andrew, we just answered this question, but do you prefer team sports or individual sports?
I would say I do love covering team sports, and throughout my life, I've had my fair share of experience with both. I've played tennis pretty much my entire life, which I did play team tennis for my senior year of high school. That was a pretty fun experience. Also enjoy skiing. I was in Challenger baseball when I was younger, and yeah, just throughout my life, I've kind of dipped my I've kind of dipped my toes in a few different sports, and I mean, my love for sports has stayed strong over the years. I'd say, yeah, as a career, definitely looking to cover it as opposed to playing sports, but I think outside of my career, like playing tennis and playing other sports are definitely going to be a part of my life for sure.
Awesome.
Well, I have a question. How old were you all? Well, you kind of answered this, so I guess it could be like a a one-word answer. I'll just go around. How old were you when you started playing sports? We'll do rapid fire. Anybody?
Let's start with Michael.
I guess the only answer I could say is I got involved in sports ever since I was 6. So having to do it for over 20 years is a huge deal.
And Zachary.
I guess well, I think it was 4 years old. I tried hockey that only lasted one day.
I love it.
It counts, though. It
It
counts.
counts, yeah.
Yes, it counts, but then you just fall flat on your butt on the ice, and it is a painful experience. And you try to not get run over by the Zamboni, but he's not actually going to hit you.
Yeah, I love that. Heather.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, so yeah, most of the sports I did growing up were in gym class. I did try a youth basketball program once, but that didn't go very well because I would always get really, really upset about not being able to put the ball in the hoop. So I just overall, I just was very frustrated with like the team, sports, feeling like I can't hit the softball. I can't kick a soccer ball very well. It just made me feel like I can't do anything. But I started running on the cross country team in 7th grade at Mohawk Shell Regional High School. And that's when I first started running. And, I did take dance lessons while I was in elementary school, and I enjoyed that. Towards the end of my 6th grade, my aide from elementary school had written a letter to my mom that I read, suggesting that I would be a good cross-country runner, but she was afraid I would get upset if I didn't win. So I thought, cross-country? So when I looked and saw the different sports that, when I went and visited the high school and middle school I was going to go to in the fall, I signed up my name onto the cross-country table. And then just a couple days before, or the day before the first day of practice, the coach called, and my mom encouraged me to go in for the first day of practice, to see if I liked it. Of course, she had told me ahead of time I wouldn't be able to take dance lessons and run on the cross country team because I would have more homework and stuff in middle school. So I went out on the first day. It was tough first day of practice because largely I wasn't outside of gym class. I wasn't very, very physically active. So it's like, it was like a lot of huffing and puffing that very first day. And I walked quite a bit. The first 2.5 miles I did, which was the length of our cross country course in high school. And, but I had a great group of girls that were like patient with me. They were like juniors at the time, and they were really nice, and they seemed like good grown-up role models to me, and I liked that. And I liked how they acknowledged that running was a hard sport, and they looked like really cool, great girls. So,
That's
which
awesome.
in my 12-year-old mind, I thought of them as grown-ups because they seemed so mature to me, and I just felt like, okay, it's hard, but I think it's something I can do. And plus, I liked being in the woods, so because that's where we're running in cross country. Is we go on trails to the woods and stuff. So I liked that.
Very cool.
Yeah, and then later I got more serious and trained year round, running cross country, indoor and outdoor track, often running the mile and the 2 mile during track season, and took my running very seriously and got very strong. And I got to the point where I was able to run like 11:40 in the 11 minutes 40 seconds in the 2 mile race and track, which is like a 5:50 per mile for 2 miles. And it was a hot day. It was actually, I did that at the state championship my junior year, shortly after my elementary school aide who had suggested I be a good runner had passed away. And I decided to run the state race in honor of her. And then all the mental barriers that were normally present during a race were just gone, even in a hot 90-degree day. So it's just
that's great.
Yeah.
It's great to hear.
Let's ask Jack. How old were you?
For me, I first started playing sports at 4 years old. Started playing off with a little bit of basketball and baseball growing up, and those are really my two sports that I followed. Never played football because it was a dangerous, violent sport for me, and my parents probably would have let me. But baseball and basketball was a great start for me in my early playing career.
That's
Awesome.
excellent.
And um, is it Andrew? Andrew, how old were you when you started playing sports?
Yeah, so I'd say my earliest memory of playing sports was I actually started playing tennis. I believe it was with Acing Autism when I was about 4 years old. Yeah, and I think, or I might have been five, something like that. And that was also around when I started becoming a sports fan. That same year,
Awesome.
I started watching Red Sox games. I had the chance to be a junior announcer on Nesson,
Oh,
and
that's
also
cool.
say play ball on Autism Awareness Day, which is a really cool experience. So that
Yeah.
it kind of started then, and I think announcing sports and analyzing sports has always been a strong passion of mine over the years. And then, I mean, playing sports has gone hand in hand with that at times for sure.
All right. I was, I think, 2 or 3 when I started skiing, so that's when sports began for me. You, Jennifer?
Yeah, my mom started training me to be a Red Sox player when I was about 3 years old. I have a picture of me with the jacket with the patches and the hat.
Awesome. And then let's dive into one of the key themes we wanted to talk about today, which is autistic people are often characterized as clumsy or uncoordinated. What do you have to say about that?
I disagree with it. I
Thank you.
mean, I disagree with it the whole time. The only reason is because people just judge people, especially on the spectrum, without even just like thinking twice about what they say. So
Yeah.
I disagree with that statement.
What about you, Jack?
I agree. People have people are people at the end of the day, and I think no matter who your gender is, whether you're black or white or Mexican or Asian, or no matter where you're from or who you are or your gender, you're always going to be you're always going to be you're always going to be making friends and meeting people and get to know people no matter if they have a disability or not, or if they have or any kind of issue that they have that's related other than autism, no matter if you have like Parkinson's disease or asthma like my brother does, and
Jack, I have a question for you. Do you think that because you have autism that makes you clumsy? That makes it like hard for you to play sports?
no, not at all. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what so was worth talking. Um, Zachary.
So, I don't think it makes you clumsy. It just like they just know that you're a little different or so.
Yeah.
Like, I have my I have my issues. People know about it. I mean, that means I'm not clumsy or anything. It's just like, well, I haven't got coached enough about it to not be clumsy about it.
Right. How about you, Heather?
Um, well, I'm not really sure from what I can say from my personal experience because my sport particularly doesn't include as much coordination as like traditional team sports. I just more or less just getting easily frustrated by not being able to, hit the ball or the hoop or whatever. It's just kind of like
Yeah.
that built up frustration is what I just don't really have the patience,
Yeah.
didn't have the patience for it. But I was able to develop a strong patience for running long distances. Even though
Excellent.
it's even though distance running is hard, I will tell you it can sometimes, oftentimes be hard to just get yourself out the door to get going. But, it's like once you get going, you get into a certain rhythm. And yeah, so basically, the rules of my sport are are simple. Well, training, you do most of your running at an easy pace, at an easy aerobic pace. And then sometimes you do, to help you work on running faster over long distances, you do interval workouts like on a track, where you do like 400 meters or 800 meters hard and then jog a certain distance. Or you do a tempo run, which you go out and you run a certain distance, kind of in between your easy pace and your race pace.
Yeah. Okay, so I think a consensus is that we don't feel, and for myself, I actually do feel that my autism had affected me when I was younger. As far as running, I had a really hard time, like much harder than the other kids, getting my legs to listen to me when I would run. But I also think I was able to overcome that, and it didn't hinder me from playing sports. How about you, Scott?
For me, I I'd say that my autism did not hold me back from sports. I mean, I wasn't diagnosed as autistic till I was 24, so I was just raised to play sports. But I mean, I pick up on things really easily. I'm really good at golf, really good at skiing, played varsity basketball, played lacrosse, like I said. And I think what's hard on me is like I've made posts before about how not all autistic people are uncoordinated or clumsy, and then leave it to the autistic community to just come in and say, well, that's not the case. And it's just like, well, I'm not saying all autistic people are athletic, but there's a small percentage of us possibly that are athletic, and that it just,
Yeah.
it's not this all or nothing black or white thinking that it's made out to be.
Just like neurotypical people, some are very non-athletic.
Yeah.
And some are athletic. So yeah, I think it's like the same.
And I feel like with autism, this kind of carries us over into the next question, which is like, I think an advantage to autism in sports is our ability to hyperfocus. And it's just, if you don't quite know what hyperfocus is, it's your ability to have like no distractions bother you, be so focused on something for hours on end or 10 minutes, whatever, just nothing will bother you. And it just allows us to stay so focused that we can get really good at something. Do any of you relate to that?
I actually do. I can relate to it a lot, and especially as a video production assistant at Holy Cross. There's often times where if I'm on graphics for broadcasting a game, I get completely dialed in on setting up the roster, setting up all the graphics that the talent want to talk about. And then if there's like a pitching rotation, like in softball or baseball, go straight to it, get it all done as quick as you can. If you don't get it done in time, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, I have that nerve of being hyper-focused. So I definitely can relate to this question.
That's awesome.
How about you, Zachary?
Well, a bit too much in my opinion. So whenever I get like something like, say, like I have to set up like the projector screens and all that, I just get a little bit too hyper focused because I feel like it's an urgent matter, but that's just me. And my boss tries to tell me, you always act like you're just rushing to fix something. And like, okay, that's just me. But I'm trying to fix that, but sometimes a little bit hyper focus is okay if depending on the situation.
Yeah. Zachary?
Yes.
Sorry, Jack.
All right.
How do you feel about, like, when you play sports? Do you feel that you're able to focus in on what you're doing, that you have an ability to focus really well, or not?
I think it really depends on how you feel, or the type of position you play. Like for example, if you're playing lacrosse, you just get too tired and exhausted, and you're just worn out, or like basketball or football, etc., something like that. Versus like say golf or tennis or maybe some stuff like that. I think it just really that just depends on your preference and how you feel and how how it goes, and I just think that it just usually depends on the type of type of feel and your position and your different thing that you're just trying to get to where get to know where you got my point is that I'm trying to just you got like players like trying to defend you and go after the ball and just try to make a stop or a big play on defense versus like you're playing golf or tennis and you're just like and you're like not playing against your competitor. That's just that I think that's something that you got to just really rely on and know what you really feel, and I just think that's how I think it goes sometimes.
I I agree, and also related to sports like golf, I think, and even it can come into play in being a football coach, whatever. With hyper focus, your attention to detail really comes in, and for me on the golf course, I can read greens better than most people I know because I see things that other people don't as an autistic person. And I think probably as a coach for football or whatever, you probably see football plays that can help out the team a lot.
Yeah, I helped out my football team a lot this year, preparing for a upcoming game against UNC because I worked with Georgia Tech last season.
Yeah, and I can also relate on your end too, because as a as a former football coach, I've been able to understand the plays and kind of be hyper focused on that because you're able to really read whether it's offense or the defensive side of the ball real well.
Well, you think you know the plays until it becomes a trick play, and then the camera loses the ball. Then, well, you have to deal with the angry coach.
Yep. You don't want an angry coach.
Oh, trust me, I deal with them every day.
Believe me, Zach, I went with that for about 7 out of 8 years, so I understand what you're saying.
All the coaches here are Bostonian, so they all are just talking in the accents.
Well, just so you know, Jennifer's from Boston too.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
But no offense, I get it.
But
Like, the DC's a Bostonian. The head coach is from Baltimore. We have the assistant from Boston. We have another defensive analyst from Boston. Like, oh my God, I'm the only guy from Lawrence.
Oh my goodness, you're from Lawrence. I'm your neighbor, so that's pretty cool.
Okay, howdy, neighbor.
Howdy, neighbor.
I'm like 600 miles away from you, so.
Oh.
And Heather, how does hyperfocus help you in running? Like, especially long distances, I'm sure if you're just in the groove, it helps you forget about how far you have to go or just focus on the goal at hand. How's that work for you?
Well, I guess in my experience, in high school, like the social aspect, like I just felt like, well, when I was younger, I felt like I was looked after like by the older girls. But then when I got to be like a sophomore, I kind of started to notice I was out of place. Like everybody was talking amongst themselves and I'm completely left out. So, I guess in that aspect, I end up just trying to make up for the lack of being able to connect socially to just really focusing on running and taking one step at a time. I think it's just, I guess, probably partially due to my autism. I think I'm able to like just focus on the race and just be like eyes ahead and just running at a fast and controlled pace. Of course, in distance running, you don't want to start out in an all-out sprint because you will pewter out and you won't be able to finish very strong. You have to run fast, but you have to run controlled, and you have to be prepared to go up the hills. I started doing marathons in 2019 when I ran the Clarence DeMar Marathon in Keene, and you definitely got to be mentally tough to run 26.2 miles. That's especially if you're going up a hill, like towards the end of it.
Yeah, running uphill is definitely harder.
Autistic people have the ability to hyper focus, if you know what that is, and it's being able to.
Yes, absolutely.
How does that relate to you in sports
Or announcing sports.
or announcing sports?
Well,
Or
I would
does it?
say like hyper. Yeah, I think it does affect me for sure. I would say that I'm able to hyper focus on a game to an extent where like I'm able to just like really tune out all distractions and notice the small things sometimes. Like I'll notice like little statistical anomalies. Like for example, if it's tied 2-2 in the second inning, I'll be able to point that out and notice that. It's the small things that I notice because of my hyper focus on the game, and I think it's really allowed me to show my passion for this all over the years. And yeah, I think overall it's definitely helped me.
Awesome. Thank you. And let's go back to Jennifer's question, and we'll start with you, Andrew. What's one of the funniest experiences you've had, whether it's announcing sports, playing sports? What's one of the funniest things that's happened?
I think, let me think about that one for a sec. I would say, I mean, yeah, like there was, I believe, yeah, there was one time, I don't know if this is funny, this is just kind of a crazy coincidence. I was at a Worcester Red Sox game. I was set to cover Autism Acceptance Day that day. And it just so happened that Chris Sale, Chris Sale, he was a Red Sox pitcher at the time, but he was on a rehab assignment from an injury. So it turned out that he was starting for the Woo Sox that day. So just being able to see a Red Sox player when I was there to cover the Woo Sox was kind of a crazy experience that I'm never going to forget.
Yeah, that's super cool.
I won't lie. I thought you were about to talk about the TV moment.
All right, Heather, let's hear. Has something funny ever happened to you during cross country or any sport?
I would think probably just seeing certain animals on the rod. Like,
Huh.
Yeah.
I was running a marathon a couple of years ago in Pittsfield, the Steel Rail Marathon, running from Pittsfield to Adams and back along a bike path. And I swear, like the last couple of miles, I saw some kind of aquatic creature running across the bike path. It looks like it might be like a little beaver or something. It's like,
That's fun.
yeah,
Adorable.
I just think, you know, it's just fun when I see an interesting animal, during my runs.
I bet you see a lot of them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know a question. Oh, Scott, you want to?
I've got two funny examples. One, when I was like 6 or 7, I was learning how to water ski, but I couldn't get up on the water ski. So my neighbor who had the boat decided I'm gonna like get to behind Scott and help him up. And then as he gets me up, my skis get ripped off from under me. And then he's like, "Are you ready to be let go?" And I just lift my legs up, and all he sees is my feet, and I start dancing with my feet while he's water skiing. And that's the only time I got up that day. And then the other one, it's funny to me when I look back on it. When I was 6, I think, I broke my leg skiing, but my parents thought I was just tired at the end of the day and exhausted. So instead of just like waiting for ski patrol to get to me, my parents figured, oh, he can just tough it out. So they made me ski down the hill with a broken leg.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I that's crazy. I have a similar. My similar was in gym class. We were playing basketball, and this girl Mary, she pushed me down, and I fell, and then I rolled over, and my hand was just killing me, and I think I said like a bunch of bad words, and I was only in like 2nd grade, but I said, so the gym teacher is like, "You got to go to the principal now," and then I showed him my hand. He's like, "Actually, go to the nurse."
Yeah.
So I wasn't in trouble
That's so
because my
funny.
hand was pretty messed up, but that's my story.
Okay, I think after hearing about all of you guys, I think I found something that would have been a funny situation. it happened kind of recently I was participating in the state games in flag football, and I think one of the funny things was that someone who listens to the Play Unified podcast that I host along with some staff members from Special Olympics Mass, I was walking out onto the field just watching some of the games before my games were going to be playing. They were like, I think one volunteer did say, "Where's your camera? Like, you don't have like one of those body cams that you're able to show all the action? Like, doing that is more like a sample for your podcast." And I could laugh. I almost laughed about it for a while, but I'm like, this guy has no idea why I'm so focused on one simple thing.
Also,
I'm remembering.
I like your shirt, Michael. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm remembering another funny story now. When I was covering a basketball game for my high school's newspaper, it was the year that there was one of the UConn starters from this past year's championship team went to my high school. He was on the team at the time, and he put up a shot. It was very close, but ends up getting stuck between the rim and the backboard. Like, there's that little area where it can get stuck sometimes, and no one could get it down for about 5 minutes. It was just a funny sight to see.
I've had that happen. You get broomsticks and like throw stuff at it.
Exactly. I think they ended up throwing another basketball at it, and it finally got down, but then the other one got stuck.
Yeah.
But they got that one out.
I know that all too well.
Yeah.
So I do have a couple funny moments.
Let's hear it.
So like, I went down at Neshoba ski area. I went down a hill, and then I was going too fast, and I hit the fence, and I did 3 backflips.
Oh, wow.
Nothing broke, but the fence was broken.
So something broke.
Something broke, just not you.
Another time I was trying baseball, and I was so annoyed with the pitcher that I went up to him and be like, hey, can you just underthrow it, please? I just can't.
Did
Like,
he?
I can't take it like a normal person, man. Just give me a break.
That's funny.
Another one is, well, recently, we flew to SMU to play the Mustangs. I had my Jersey Mike's up in my hand. Sponsor, I know.
Oh yeah.
We
Love a
landed
good
in
Jersey Mike's stuff.
Oh, trust me. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we fly into Dallas, hot as ever. First time in Dallas, and I was expecting, like a good steak restaurant. So after we set up the projector rooms and all the meeting rooms, I went up to one of the hotel managers and say, "Hey, what is the best local steak place close to the hotel that I can go to? Because anywhere else, I'm thinking like a good steak restaurant in Dallas has to be close, and it can't be like, say, I don't know, like Texas Roadhouse or Applebee's." She paused and she literally gave me the answer of Texas Roadhouse.
For real?
And I was like, are you kidding me? Texas Roadhouse outdoes Texas.
I mean, he could have said Outback Steakhouse.
insane.
I know.
I was just like, the words just drove me nuts. Just like Texas Roadhouse outdoes Texas steak. I'm just like, I was having an epiphany of just like, oh my goodness, what has life become?
Yeah, that's
I know
wrong.
the cinnamon rolls are good, but my God.
The rolls are good.
Yeah.
Other times it's just like the UCF game when they had an interception and fumbled it at the 1 yard line, and Georgia Tech returned it. I have like good memories of those games and such.
Yeah.
I would argue for the New Englanders here, Bertucci's has better rolls, but
You
anyone
think
begs to differ.
Bertucci's has better rolls than Texas Roadhouse?
I haven't been
Yeah.
in Bertucci's in a long time, so maybe
My
we're
dad used to roll up Bertucci's rolls in napkins and take them home. So maybe I think it is. They are pretty good.
What about Cheesecake Factory? We're talking Cheesecake Factory rolls?
Just rolls in general are good.
Yeah.
We're derailed by carbohydrates right now.
But you need your carbs when you play sports. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you're running long distances.
Right.
Yeah, I heard the term that you carb up before a big race.
Yeah.
especially
Do you do
especially
that,
before a
Heather?
marathon. Yeah, I try to make sure that like before each race I do like the night before each race I eat a nice carbohydrate rich dinner, preferably pasta.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, we actually
Yeah.
used to have pasta dinners with my tennis team senior year of high school. Those were some nice memories. Just time to bond with the team, enjoy some good food. Um, one time we turned it into a pizza dinner too. Actually, we had it at Apex Entertainment in Marlboro. That was when I had hosted. And we all took turns hosting pasta or other food dinners. They're usually carb heavy, like the dinners you were mentioning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in high
Yeah.
school, my cross country teammates would take turns hosting spaghetti dinners before big races, but it was on a volunteer effort. So it was like, you know, one of us could volunteer to host a spaghetti dinner for the team. And one time, I hosted one once. Of course, my mom did, you know, most of the work.
Yeah, yeah. Same with my parents.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
think for me, for my memory, we actually had for our high school lacrosse team, we actually before we went to like away game and stuff, we actually had I don't think you guys have that up there where you guys are based mainly New England where you guys are, but we had Chick-fil-A sandwiches but before we go to every like away game.
Ooh. We had once for a tennis team dinner.
Yeah, those are good. And the breakfast minis are very good too.
Depending.
Depending, yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm not a big biscuit guy unless it's Bojangles blueberry biscuit.
I never had that.
Oh, it's like a muffin top. It is phenomenal.
Personally, after basketball practices, I just enjoyed getting a Dairy Queen Blizzard.
Oh yeah. I think
Okay.
those, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Dairy
mean,
Queen.
Best stuff.
the best thing for me after football practice, after editing, is that our meals are free from the school. So we get whatever the players don't get.
Yeah.
It'd be a Jersey Mike sub, tacos, American Deli. It's always free.
Nice,
Awesome.
because free food is great food.
Yep, and it saves money.
Yep.
All right, let's dive into the question Jennifer had earlier, which is like, what's one of the most iconic moments you've had in sports, or have you met someone iconic? Like, where is that what you were asking, Jennifer?
Yeah, like a noteworthy thing that's happened. You accomplished a goal. You met somebody. Anything that something you'd like people to know.
So when the Patriots got their fifth Super Bowl trophy, I was able at my undergrad in college was able to see Tom Brady during the banner
Wow.
ceremony.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like 5 feet away from me, but
What? That's awesome.
and plus it was great, but they lost to the Chiefs that day.
Oh.
That's the sad part.
Yeah.
Chiefs.
I have a similar story.
The most recent thing that happened to me was back at SMU was when we got into the locker room and then we were told that President Bush was coming.
Wow.
So, and you'd think that'd be great. Oh no, it messed everyone's camera equipment up
Wow.
because the president's mobile had that like filter of like it shuts off all radio frequencies. It messed with our cameras and our cell phone receptions, so we couldn't talk or anything.
Oh wow.
So,
All right,
met
Andrew.
met the president somewhat.
That's cool. Let's hear what you have to
Oh,
say,
nice.
Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah, similar to the Brady story. Yeah, I was at an event in 2019. I think it was like this Autism Summerfest concert, but there are a lot of big figures in Boston sports that had come to the event, including Rob Gronkowski, who I had the chance to interview. And at the time I was actually making and at the time I was actually making a documentary for my high school football team that was going to play at a fundraiser for both the team and the Flutie Foundation. It's called Gonk Knox. and I had the chance to film a little ad with it where Gronk was saying Gronk loves Gonk Knocks. It's perfect.
Wow, he's like my favorite player
He's
ever.
awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Oh yeah, love Gronk.
Just don't make Gronk do any kicks at the Super Bowl for halftime
Yeah.
again.
He missed that one
Oh
pretty
yeah,
badly this year.
he's probably had enough of that.
Yeah.
What about you, Jack?
Well, for me, I don't know if you know this, but since I'm here in North Carolina, I got to meet the by far number one college football coach of all time, behind among others. Started at Boston College, but I know you guys are big fans. But you got to give respect to none other than the legend himself, Coach K from Duke University.
Very
Cool.
cool.
Wait, where do you
Love
live in
Coach
North
K, yeah.
Carolina?
I am in Wilmington.
I'm in Charlotte.
Oh wow, small world.
Indeed. Come visit sometime. I'm lonely.
Yeah. I've got friends that are from there, and I know that part very well.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it.
And you, Michael?
Come to think of it, I don't think there's a lot. I don't think during my course of my involvement of playing sports, I got to know like a lot of sports legends. But I think the only one I could only throw out was meeting our founder, Doug Flutie, at the Stars of the Spectrum concert. We were just in the process of ending everything. I was in the process of going home, and I just ran into him and Lori right after that. Kind of mentioned, about being involved with Special Olympics and appreciative of making a foundation in honor of his son, Dougie, who I share having autism with. And just seemed awesome that I got to really like meet a Heisman Trophy winner in person. I've never actually done that before.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
It's been great getting to know Doug over the years.
I met Doug twice, but the first time I don't even know if I want to say this, but I got nervous when I met him, so I didn't know what to say. So I was like, my dad saw you kick or throw the Hail Mary in like 1980s. He looked at me and he was like, okay. He just like kept walking out. I was like, no, I will never speak again to anybody. Yeah, it was pretty brutal. But then I met him a second time, and it was cool. So.
Yep. What about you, Heather?
Well, I have to say I was I'm pretty proud that when I ran cross country and track, I had like a really great coach. Just like about maybe 6 years ago, I think he was named the most winningest coach in Massachusetts history, being the coach with the most amount of wins he had for his teams that he coached. And he's an incredibly humble guy. Like, he doesn't really crave the attention at all. Like,
That's the best kind of coach.
He likes doing it because he loves coaching kids, and I really felt like he appreciated me for all the hard effort and the dedication I put into the sport and everything. And I think he's really helped be an inspiration for me. In fact, I think he's still at it even after having done it for 40 plus years.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's very amazing. He's not a runner himself, but he was a really great coach for the cross country and indoor and outdoor track teams for a long time. And he's amazing,
Awesome.
Yeah, of course he will push you hard. He will want you to try to get you to to work hard. Of course, he can't force everybody to train during the summer, but he admires those that do.
Yep.
And everything.
I think one of my stories is one of the coolest things that ever happened to me was when the Avalanche first came to Colorado. They had a convention for the All-Star game, and my friend's dad owns a sports bar right by the Pepsi Center at the time, and we're hanging out there eating dinner and playing Golden Tee, I think it is, or one of those golf games. And he calls us upstairs to the 4th floor, and we walk into his office, and right there is Wayne Gretzky sitting in front of us. and
Wow.
we were just blown away. This was not a situation like Wayne Gretzky just sitting at a table taking a bunch of people. Like, we actually got to sit with him and talk to him for 15 to 20 minutes. And
What?
so, and then I got him to autograph one of the All-Star jerseys. So that was like the most just like random amazing moments.
Scott, we've been friends for how long and you don't lead with that? That's a cool story.
Yeah, but it's a story I forget sometimes, and I still have yet to frame the jersey. It's still in my closet, but I should probably frame it pretty soon.
Yeah.
You got to get that framed. You got to get that picture. You got to get that put up on display.
Yeah,
Yes, indeed.
I'll put it downstairs in my theater room.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't think I met any sports stars, but I got one more terribly embarrassing sports story.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
When I was little, like 5-6 years old, my brothers used to play, basketball in high school or whatever. And at halftime, they used to let all the little kids go out and shoot baskets. Well, I got a little too excited because I heard the buzzer go off, but it wasn't for halftime. It was like for some other reason. And I grabbed my ball and ran on the court. And then like all these high school boys come running down the other end. I almost got trampled. And someone had to like grab me out of the way and drag me. Yeah, it was embarrassing and terrifying at the same time. Now that I've embarrassed myself 3 times on this podcast, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. It's all, I love it. We'll do like 2 more questions and then call it. So, some of you definitely seem like sports fans. So do you like to watch sports on your free time? And who's your favorite team or player?
Well, that's a bit complicated. Seeing that I've been with multiple teams in college football, I have to choose Washington now in the Big Ten, Georgia Tech, and Charlotte and BC. It's just depending on the time schedule which they play. Plus, sometimes I get bored with the Patriots winning back in those days, so I have to watch the Raiders and the Browns. So I'm trying to be a Panthers fan. It's just hard.
Yeah.
But
Eagles.
Yeah.
I'm an Eagles fan.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. I've stuck by. Wait, what were you saying?
Like, I like the Panthers. Like, I should have went to that 50-cent game night for the Panthers, but that's all about
50
it.
cents. Wow.
Look, they won that game. It was against the Falcons. It was raining. I had to get a haircut, and if it was not raining, I would have went.
Yep.
Huh. Yeah,
Bad
I'm
ownership.
a big NFL fan in general. I watch Red Zone a lot of Sundays because I play fantasy football, but also all the Boston teams: Red Sox, Patriots.
Michael, go ahead.
All right. Well, I mean, I can relate also, being a big fan of like all the Boston teams, especially with the Patriots. Even though they got a new era, I'm still rooting for them. I think if I had to go with the favorite athlete part, I probably all time, it's got to be TB12. And then, I do often watch a lot of sports on my free time. Sometimes I watch it with my dad. He's also an avid baseball. He's often an avid sports fan. And sometimes I'd like to watch some replays on ESPN Plus since I have the ESPN Plus app. So.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yes. I'm a huge fan of all 4 of the big Boston teams: Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics, Bruins. I'd say the Red Sox were kind of my first team that I got into, kind of got into the rest from there. Still probably my favorite of the 4, but I'm a big NFL fan in general, so that's maybe more interested in the Patriots. And I've been writing about all 4 of them, especially the Sox and Pats, on my blog for the entirety of its existence. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, what's the name of your blog again?
It's called Boston Sports Mania.
Boston Sportsman. I'll have to tell my mom
Awesome.
about that.
And Heather, do you have any favorite teams or athletes?
Well, I guess there's a group of them I admire. I think one of the first famous runners I had heard about was Steve Prefontaine, who was a great distance runner back in the in the 70s. Unfortunately, he died young in a car accident in 1975 when he was just 24 years old. But he was a very strong and very determined runner, often running in the 5K races and track, and he was a cross country runner as well. And he went to the he was in the Olympics and he was trying to win it, but ended up with a disappointing fourth place finish. But I think he still did great, despite that. Some other athletes I admire Kathleen Switzer, who was the first female to wear a bib running in the Boston Marathon when it was still an all male thing. And just hearing about how this race director literally tried to rip her bib off and try to get her off the course, but her boyfriend or some friend of hers pushed the race director away, and she ended up finishing and kind of helped pave the way for women to run marathons, and which is great because she was the only girl running in an all males race, and then the race director trying to get her off the course. She must have had to have been brave to go through all of that and still come out and still run and say, women can run marathons.
Yep.
And they should be allowed to.
Yeah.
Awesome. Jack, do you have a favorite sports team or do you watch sports?
I do. But it's a long story because my family lived in Atlanta for a very long time, and they are big time Atlanta sports fans. I will tell you that to jump into that, I know you guys have different opinions on this, but that I won't discuss it at all, but maybe I will. But my brother and my dad went to the Super Bowl back in 2017, and they were Falcons fans, and they blew the Super Bowl lead to your Patriots. And I can remember watching on TV and thinking,
"Oh yeah,
here comes Tom Brady." And I can remember at the time thinking, I knew he was going to come back because they made an adjustment. He's Tom Brady. This is the NFL, and no weed is safe. And I knew exactly how that game plan played out for this Belichick and Patriots and that Julian Edelman catch, which I thought was a clutch play, and it was incredible. And I thought, wow. But if you were a Falcons fan,
I have that
you
framed in my
had
room.
to look away, and that was one of my biggest takeaways of that game. So, for anyone who was a Falcons fan, including us, it was just you just had to look away and just couldn't even say a word because those fans were like quiet and didn't even say anything. So, but for me, overall, I think I like the Philadelphia Eagles because my dad grew up there, and they beat your Patriots in the next year after that in the Super Bowl 52. But you know what? I grew up in New Jersey, and we were in the Philadelphia area, and my dad grew up in Philly, and he had grandparents that lived over there. He worked at Kimball Soup Company in Camden, New Jersey, and he worked there for a very long time during his time. And my dad has to be the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFL because of Nick Foles and the ownership of Jeffrey Woolley, and they have a great autism foundation down there. They have great people, great organization, and they have a great sports town, unlike Boston. So us being an East Coaster, just had to throw it out there. But that's who I follow. But for college, for me, for my college sports team, my favorite, the Duke Blue Devils, because of Mike Krzyzewski, like I said earlier, because he is a legend. He is a 5-time national champion, Olympic gold medalist. And to your point earlier about me, my greatest coaches, well, let me tell you, I had the greatest combination with my parents, and it was a very special one. He was a very special guy, had a great family, and has a dog, and he loves hanging out with his grandkids, and I got a picture with him, and got a special T-shirt from him. Let me tell you, it was a special treat meeting him. I wouldn't forget it.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
My favorite teams are either the Green Bay Packers, because I have Wisconsin roots, and the Denver Nuggets, being from Colorado. And yeah, so Denver Nuggets are finally doing well, and I think we're going to beat Boston in the championship.
One
I
moment.
agree.
Knock
I
on this
agree.
wood right here.
That's
we
my final
just created controversy.
I don't know if you know this, but you guys should. But you guys know this, but I have a podcast called Good Guy Sports. We're on YouTube. Check us out.
All right.
All right.
So I'm famous on
Go to
wow.
YouTube.com and type in
Awesome.
Good Guy Sports Podcast. That's it's up there, and that's who we are.
We'll put all your social media in the show notes.
Yeah, type your social media in the comments and we'll put it up.
I did want to ask all you guys, at least the football fans around here, if anyone was following the NFL draft last night, what you thought of your team's picks, because I was pretty stoked that Drake May is going to be the new Patriots quarterback. I mean, they got their new franchise guy. Hopefully the best one's Tom Brady.
For someone
That's what I'm saying, because look, to your point of with the guy in the green sweatshirt, I know you're from that area. Well, let me tell you something. He played high school in the Charlotte area, Huntersville High School area to be exact. And I think he's going to move from there, and then move into his new home up into New England. I think he has a strong connection and strong roots, and I think he's going to stay in the East Coast, go from the Carolina to New England. That's going to be a transition, but you know what? I think he'll get used to it with the cold weather, unlike what Tom Brady did. But but to your point, with the guy in the green shirt, it'll be adjustment, but I think I'll get used to it.
Awesome. Well, I think it's time we wrap it up. We really appreciate having all of you on, and I really enjoyed getting to know each of you.
Yeah, it's been great. We appreciate your time and opening up to us about so many different aspects of your sports life and just your life. And thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.